Today, I'm going to focus on one particular trend, which is causing the largest land rush in California's history for something that most people are not even aware of. It's causing the greatest shift of wealth in the history of the world. Trillions of dollars is going to change hands as a result of this. And this statement comes from the CEO of Valor. He made this statement over 6 years ago when he saw what was happening in the Antelope Valley as a result of energy. Energy is a fundamental resource that we all use every single day, from the second we wake up to have our morning coffee, to look at our cell phone, to turn on our computer, to drive to work, to make our food, whatever it is, we all need energy. And that energy for the longest time was coming from fossil fuels. But governments are outlawing fossil fuels altogether. Companies are saying we're no longer going to be using fossil fuels. And we are shifting away globally, not just here in California, but worldwide, towards alternative energy. This is huge, 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 huge. And the critical asset that is needed for this is, you guessed it, land. The amount of land that's going to be needed to power California, the US, the world is staggering. And we happen to be investing in the alternative energy capital of the world. It just worked out that way. So the clean energy leader globally is California. They have set the standard for the country and the world. And we happen to be investing in the #1 location for these projects in California, which is the Antelope Valley. You saw that, but you'll see why that is here shortly. So how this all started: back in 2005, Governor Schwarzenegger said, "Do you believe it is acceptable that 7 million people die every year from pollution? That's more than murders, suicides, and car accidents combined." Critical point he made best sums up in this one killer line about the fossil fuel industry when he said, "I don't want to be the last investor in Blockbuster as Netflix emerges. I don't want to be investing in Chevron or Exxon as we're starting to get our energy from alternative energy." So the big fossil fuel companies, they saw the writing on the wall within the past decade. They started moving their monies out of fossil fuels and into alternative energy, including the Rockefellers, who created their wealth from fossil fuels. They started divesting, probably 8 years ago. Most people didn't even have a clue that this was happening. But we're paying attention to the laws. So Senate Bill 305 was passed in 2005, which said by the year 2050, we want to reduce carbon emissions here in California by the year 2050 by 80%. To start eating away at that massive goal, Governor Brown in 2011 passed Assembly Bill 32, which said by the year 2020, we want to be running at 33% renewables here in California. I'm happy to announce that we did hit those goals. We actually hit them early by, I believe, 2018. Right now, we're at about 40% renewable energy here in California. And just to get us to that 33% renewable energy in the Antelope Valley, this is Lorelei Oviatt. She is the director, Kern County Planning and Natural Resources. She is the energy director. I actually have a video on my YouTube site if you want to see that with her in it. Anyways, to get us to 33% in the Kern County portion of the Antelope Valley. So Kern County and LA County make up the Antelope Valley, with Kern County on the northern half and LA County on the southern half. Just in Kern County, as of 2019, so for about a decade, close to $60 billion in public and private investment was made in the Antelope Valley for alternative energies. Almost 60 billion. It's actually closer to 70 billion if you include the LA County area. Billions of dollars, and we own the land all over this area. Here's an actual video of a recent project that was done. I think it was completed earlier, actually 2020 completion. But these projects, I mean, the smallest one about half a mile by half a mile. Recent project was just approved, 15 square miles. These projects are getting larger and larger by the day because we have huge goals to hit here in California. And you can see, I mean, it's like a sea of solar panels. That's just one little project. So September 2018, Governor Brown passes Senate Bill 100. Senate Bill 100 says by the year 2045, we need to get all of our electricity from alternative energy. All homes and buildings in California must be 100% powered by alternative energy. This is the greatest land rush in California's history. It has just begun. It is phenomenal to witness, to see on the ground, and to be a part of helping people invest in this area. So there's 4 key strategies for land banking in what is known as the Target Electric Utility Region. This is stated by the Antelope Valley governments. They are calling this area the Target Electric Utility Region. Number 1, location, location, location. Always important in real estate. Number 2, more important than knowing where to buy is knowing what not to buy. Critical when it comes to land. Number 3, critical infrastructure has to be there. Number 4, you got to have the customers for it. So this is the National Renewable Energy Laboratory map showing where the best sun is. The darker the red, the more intense sun. That's where you want to have your solar projects if you're harvesting the sun. That little star right there, that is where the Antelope Valley is. Best location. Out here, remember, there's a lot of government land, cannot be developed. They tried doing it. There was too many issues, not happening. This is the Target Electric Utility Region. That's why $3.5 billion has already been spent by the public utility companies to put in the infrastructure. So alternative energy capital of the world, Valor did not make up that statement. They've been known across the globe as the alternative energy capital of the world because of everything that they've been doing here. Also, we don't want these little critters on our land. These are all protected, endangered species. If you buy land with these guys on it, you're out of luck. As a matter of fact, the Antelope Valley passed what's called the Town and Country Plan. As a part of that Town and Country Plan, they designated all sorts of land as undevelopable, protected. See all the green, that fluorescent green, darker green? Can't develop. Thousands and thousands of acres of land off the map for development. So just because you see land, now you could buy that land. That land is probably on the sale on the internet today. You can go on there right now. Oh my gosh, you can find the cheapest land ever. But it's cheap for a reason. You can't develop it. And then, like I said, the infrastructure has to be there. So Southern California Edison built out the Tehachapi Renewable Transmission Project. It's about $2.7 billion project across the Antelope Valley. Here it is. This is the Antelope Valley going over Angeles National Forest into downtown LA. That was back a little over a decade ago, planning for the transmission of alternative energy. Barron Ridge power line. This was put in just by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power across the Antelope Valley. That was about a $600 million project. And then, of course, you need the customers. There's 40 million people in California that need energy. Where is it going to come from if it all has to be alternative energy? I'm going to tell you one thing. They don't have the environment. They don't have the land. They don't have the infrastructure in Northern California to build out these massive utility scale projects to be able to power California. Valor has an exclusive map of California where the government says specifically where they are allowing these projects to come in. And the main location is the Antelope Valley. We are in the Target Electric Utility Region. This is an opportunity of a lifetime that is not going to last forever. Energy, real estate. Is there enough land available? Well, I'll let you make that decision. This was a recent article, March 16th, 2021, put out by the California Energy Commission, California Public Utilities Commission, and California Air Resources Board. They said, regarding Senate Bill 100, power all electric retail sales, so all homes and buildings, 100% of it, by the year 2045, that's the goal. For the next 25 years, on average, the state of California will need to build up to 6 gigawatts of new renewable and battery storage resources annually. 6 gigawatts. 1 gigawatt is equivalent to 1 nuclear power plant. That's a tremendous amount of energy, 6 gigawatts. By comparison, over the last decade, the state has built on average 1.3 gigawatts of energy per year. They've been going at a rate of 1.3 gigawatts for the last decade, and we have seen the largest land rush in California's history happening over the last decade. And now they need to more than quadruple it up to 6 gigawatts for the next 25 years. I'm going to show you guys a visual image of how much land has already been consumed here shortly. But before we get into that, let's figure out how much land is actually needed for 1 megawatt. So here's a new project coming into the Antelope Valley, Big Bow Solar. I believe it's already under construction. 2,290 acres, 188 megawatts total. That breaks down to 12.18 acres per megawatt. Let's be ultra conservative and say 10 acres per megawatt to create energy. 10 acres per 1 megawatt, okay? And we need 6 gigawatts for the next 25 years. I did the number crunching. I'm not going to go through the whole mathematics of it all, but at a rate of 10 acres per megawatt, that would require 2,343 square miles of land to create enough alternative energy to power the homes and buildings in California. And that's a conservative number. 2,343 miles. Imagine 1 mile wide piece of land all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's how much land that is just to power the homes and buildings in California. And I keep saying that for a very, very important reason, which I'll get into here shortly. So let's look at the map. Here's a visual of the Antelope Valley. Antelope Valley is shaped in a triangular shape because to the south we have the Angeles National Forest, to the north we have the Tehachapi Mountains. You're not going to have solar panels in the mountains, plus it's government land, it's protected. All of the colored areas off the map for development for various different reasons. This central area right here with these yellow blocks, the local governments want to keep that land away from alternative energy because this is where traditional community development needs to go. So housing, commercial, industrial, all those Amazon, all those cannabis, everything we had been talking about earlier is going here. Yes, we invest in land here as well. To the western part of the Antelope Valley, this is where the transmission lines are. This is where the projects are coming in. All of the dark red that you see here and the pink is all solar and wind projects that have come into the Antelope Valley in the past decade. It's about 300 square miles of land in the past decade to get California to 33% renewable energy. That's a 20% increase from where they started in 2011. In 2011, there was already 13% renewable energy in California because of very old wind farms that are sprinkled throughout California. So that 20% increase was a growth rate of about 1.3 gigawatts per year for the past decade. And now we need to speed it up to 6 gigawatts per year for the next 25 years. Just eyeballing this map, is there enough land available? I'm going to say no. I'll let you make that determination yourself. And just because there's land without a color on it does not mean it's developable land. I mean, if you zoomed in real close, you can see there's little mountains here. You're not going to have solar panels on the side of these mountains here. And then this is the Godzilla of alternative energy, the electric vehicle revolution. And it is happening faster than you can even imagine. We've been watching this for the past decade, and it's mind-blowing how quickly this is moving. We saw the car companies struggling against it, absolutely never going to create electric vehicles, to, okay, we're going to stop making gas-powered vehicles altogether, like General Motors. Executive Order N7920 came out in 2020. It shall be a goal of the state that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks will be zero emission by the year 2035. It shall be a further goal of the state that 100% of medium and heavy duty vehicles in the state be zero emission by the year 2045. And heavy duty vehicles, so that's big rig trucks, semi trucks, there's about 1.7 million of those on the road every single year in California. Just to power the big rig trucks is going to require a huge amount of land. So we are transitioning away from gas powered vehicles. That's just the way it is. It's happening. It's not just here in California. It's happening globally, has been for about the past decade. I mean, look at the way Tesla is blowing away all the competition with their electric vehicles. So all these other car companies are waking up. They're seeing the laws. They're seeing that consumers want these environmentally friendly vehicles, and that's what they're moving to. You might be familiar that the United States government is going to replace all of their vehicles with electric vehicles. Just to power that alone is going to require a huge amount of energy. When you combine the $5 trillion global transportation industry with an energy industry whose renewable sector is growing dramatically, you get one of the most lucrative marriages of industry yet. Follow the money. Land is the critical asset for all of this. Instead of trying to figure out what company is going to do the best, they go in and out of business all the time. Some are buying and selling each other. We've seen it happening where one company comes in, they buy a bunch of land, and then another company comes in and buys them out. I don't care who the company is. They need my land regardless. And now that California is banning gas-powered vehicles, how much land is that going to require to power the vehicles? Let's just look at the trucks. The Tesla semi-truck has a 500-mile range. It requires the same amount of energy as 700 homes per hour for one truck to run. They already have the West Coast Electric Highway under construction, putting in these electric truck stops to prepare for this. They have to start electrifying America for these electric vehicles, and it's going to defeat the purpose if the energy is not coming from alternative energy. So the wind and solar boom is here. As a matter of fact, according to the International Energy Agency, solar is the cheapest electricity in history, and it is very land intensive. And we are in the alternative energy capital of the world. So at Velour, we say instead of investing in a company, invest in the asset that every company needs, which is dirt. So options for investing, we're almost done. Cash, IRA accounts, if you have any of those, retirement accounts, old retirement accounts, you can roll those over into self-directed IRAs. Tenancy in common simple partnerships, so you can partner with other people. You can even partner with yourself. What do I mean by that? Maybe you have some 401k money and some cash. You can partner those. Or maybe you have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. You can partner those together to buy a property. Certificates of disappointment. I mean, you're losing money to inflation with those. Pull your money out of there. Loans from retirement accounts. You can do that if your custodian allows that. You want to talk to your individual retirement account custodians on that. Cash value life insurance is another option. Lines of credit. So HELOCs, I've had several people use that from their home equity lines. You can purchase it with a corporation if you have one. You can also do a 1031 exchange. So say you're selling a building or a rental property of some sort, and you need to do a 1031 tax deferred exchange to avoid paying capital gains taxes. You can buy land with that as well. Helped many people go through that, helping several right now, as a matter of fact. So next steps to becoming a land banker with Velour. If yay, this sounds great to you, discuss your goals with a Velour representative, either myself or the person who invited you, and we can help you determine if land banking is right for you in your situation. Determine the source of funds that you're looking at, IRA, cash, partnership, etc. What does that look like? The investable amount that's comfortable for you. So minimum investment starts at about $25,000. Then from there, we will look at delivering a phenomenal parcel of land located right in this area where we were just talking about. Go into escrow, 21 days, very simple process. We walk you through the whole thing, and then you're a landowner. Grant deed, title insurance shows up in the mail. Really easy, and I'm happy to support you on your wealth building journey. Here is my contact information. You can text me at this number, 925-337-2513. Send me an email. Let me know if you're interested.